Hi, I'm Rachel from Rowan Consultancy, and today I'm going to talk a bit about anxiety. We'll look at what is anxiety and how it works and what you can do to reduce the symptoms of anxiety when you experience them. We're all anxious at different parts in our lives. It's a perfectly natural, quite useful response. It's the body's natural alarm system. It warns us that there's danger and we need to stay safe. The trouble is when it thinks we're in danger and we're not. So let's have a look at how anxiety works. What you'll notice when you're anxious is you might have thoughts like, oh, it's a disaster, something awful is going to happen, I'm going to pass out. It's really useful to get to know what your own physical sensations are, get to know your body. So like when I'm anxious, my shoulders go tight and my muscles get tighter, and often my heart pounds quickly as well, and I have a sense of impending doom. So just consider, how does your body tell you when it thinks it's in danger? When you're anxious, it's good to know the physical signs. Some people get sweaty. There's a whole variety of physical symptoms. So here are a few common feelings. You may feel fear, generally do, worry. You might call it apprehension. You may feel a bit sick in your stomach or on edge, or some people get dizzy or headaches. Get to know your symptoms. That's what happens when your body thinks you're in danger, whether you are or not. And you may just see some behaviors like you talk fast. I do. Or some people stop talking. You might be restless physically. You can't settle, can't relax. Or maybe you can't concentrate. Someone's talking to you, but you can't hear it because you're in this heightened state of, God, I'm in danger. I've got to run away from that saber-toothed tiger. Let's look at how it works in the body, and then we'll get on to the tips on how you can manage your anxiety and learn to live with it. Almost befriended. So here's how it works. Here's from Dan Siegel on the window of tolerance. So this is where we want to be, inside the window of tolerance. That's when my body's calm and relaxed and I can access my logical brain and concentrate on things and make choices and decisions. Delightful. This happens when I know I'm safe. When a danger signal comes in, like a saber-toothed tiger, or perhaps an email from my boss or an awkward conversation with someone, whatever stresses you, it's different for each of us, our body can go one of two ways. So it might go up into the hyperarousal, that's the red bit up the top, at which point I get anxious and I go into flight or fight. So I either run away from this tiger or I fight it. So my body is all ready and geared up for that. The blood goes away from my stomach. I'm not in rest and digest anymore. The green is rest and digest. I'm now fight, flight, run. And my brain's all over the place looking for danger and scanning the horizon. This is really helpful if you are being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Personally, I find it less helpful when I've got an awkward meeting coming up, a difficult conversation, or a deadline to meet. It's profoundly unhelpful, to be honest. So I want to come out of that state, and we'll look at ways you can do that in a moment to get back into my window of tolerance. Or some of us in different situations, when we're stressed and there's danger, instead of going into fight or flight, we go into freeze or flop or fragment. And you kind of numb out and you feel hopeless and like there's no point even trying, so I won't even bother. Maybe you're anxious because a friend's invited you out and you're a bit nervous about that. It would be so easy to cancel. That would be the freeze or flop. Or not reply to them is the hypoarousal. And everything's much, much slower. And what helps us get out of that is actually being physically moving. Moving your body helps shift your brain out of a state if you're in that shutdown feeling. But if you're anxious, which is what we're focusing on today, and you're all over the place, moving around is often the last thing you need, and it's more settling yourself. Although, to be honest, sometimes kicking something helps, or throwing something. Okay, so that's what's happening in your body when you get anxious. You're into hyperarousal all over the place, and we need to calm down. So here's the bit you've been waiting for. What can actually help with anxiety? Breathing helps. And of course, we're always breathing, but sometimes we're breathing really shallowly up here in the top of our lungs. That's what we do when we're running away from that tiger or fighting it. Shallow, shallow breathing. Or if you've ever had a panic attack. So one way we can help our body to get down into that rest and digest state or window of tolerance is to do mindful breathing. So let's try that now. If you put your hands on your stomach, and try that now with your fingertips just touching, and breathe in like a big balloon full of air, and then breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, if there's no movement going on there, don't worry, it means you're not yet breathing to your full lung capacity, which is a good thing to practice. But then just by feeling your rib cage, stick an arm under your armpit and breathe in and out. What you're hoping for is that your rib cage is expanding, and you can feel as you breathe in and breathe out. Now, if you don't feel anything there, then that tells you you've kind of forgotten how to breathe, like babies and kittens and dogs do, and you're breathing shallowly. Don't worry, just practice. Maybe when you're in bed at night, see if you can practice breathing a bit more deeply. Like that. Breathe in, like you're smelling the roses. Breathe out, like you're blowing out the birthday candles. Smell the roses, blow out the birthday candles. Then maybe just relax your shoulders a bit each time you blow out. Even better if you make a noise or can feel the breath. Okay, so do practice breathing. I've said that quickly. I find, daily practice helps. Then you can call on this deep breathing when you need it, if you've been practicing it. Another good way is grounding. So let's do a grounding exercise. Try this now. This is about bringing yourself into the present moment. When we're anxious, we're worrying about the future, or we're worrying about what we did in the past. So to calm our body, we need to ground in the present moment and realize we are safe. We can rest and digest. Even if there's a horrible meeting coming tomorrow, right now, I'm safe. So look around and do this out loud. Name 5 things you can see. So I'll just do this with you. I can see my jumper that I took off. I can see the clock. I can see the speaker. I can see some blue sky. I've lost count. I can see my empty coffee cup. Name 4 things you can touch. Well, I can touch my arms at the moment. I can feel my skin. I can feel my glasses. I can feel my phone case. Take your time to really feel it. It's a bit rough. I can feel my purse, kind of soft and corduroy. Name 3 things you can hear. Well, I can hear my voice. I can hear the traffic. I can hear someone talking in the room next door. 2 things you can smell. I don't think I can smell much at the moment. Tell you what, I can smell my coffee, my empty coffee cup. And maybe I can smell my lip salve or my hand. One thing I can still taste my coffee, or maybe you can taste. Can you see what I'm doing? Just talk yourself through these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that will ground you in the present moment instead of spiraling into anxiety. Really touch things and listen. Apparently listening to birdsong is quite calming. So if you can go outside and do this exercise, even better than doing it indoors. Okay, so that's grounding, breathing and grounding. Medication can help with anxiety. Do go and see your GP. I'm just giving you first aid here. If the anxiety is really bothering, go and see a professional, medical professional or counseling professional. And maybe a medic can give you some medication. Relaxing helps. We need to learn how to do that. Let's look at self-compassion and reality checks. Counseling can help too. So reality checks. Self-compassion. There's being kind to yourself, not letting yourself off the hook. Like I won't go out with my friends, but being kind. It's okay to feel nervous. So the first step here is connect to your body. Notice how you feel. Oh, I'm anxious about going out with my friends. My shoulders are tight. I feel scared. I want to hide in a hole under the duvet and never see anyone again. So just acknowledge this is hard. The next bit is to realize you're not alone. This is a human response. Lots of other people feel nervous about going out with their friends or giving a presentation or having a deadline. Whatever it is, tell yourself, I'm not alone. Other people feel like this too. Just to reassure yourself, this is completely usual. You're not a freak for feeling nervous about this thing. And then finally, be kind to yourself. How can I be kind to myself? The answer will be different for each of you. I mean, for me, sometimes giving myself a hug like that helps. Or going outside for a little bit, or phoning a friend. It will be different for each of you. Have a little checklist. Some people find it really helpful to have them on a Post-it. List all the things that make you feel better. Preferably helpful things, because I'm inclined to eating chocolate does give me short-term comfort, but not so good long-term. So that's a little bit of self-compassion from Kristin Neff. You can look her up online, Kristin Neff. Now, just to finish off nearly, here's how your brain works for anxiety. This bit of the brain is the most primitive bit that we share with the reptiles, and it needs to know, it's the brain stem, am I safe? That one has to be calmed before you can work on the limbic system, which is the relational bit that we share with mammals. And both those need soothed before we can engage what makes us uniquely human, which is our logic and rational brain. So if you want to calm yourself or someone else, say you have an anxious kid or colleague, friend, don't go straight in with the reasoning and go, oh, don't be silly, you'll be fine when you meet your friends, even if it's true. When I'm nervous, I can't hear logic. So there's no point you going straight to my logic. Work first to regulate me, to calm me down, talk in a soothing voice, have me sit down, give me a cup of tea. Do you know, all those physical things? Maybe give me a hug if I want one, ask. Do some physical things or breathing to soothe yourself or the person, working on that bit. Once we're regulated and our body feels and knows that we're safe, I'm in no imminent danger of death right now, whatever may happen in the future, then it helps to relate. So that's why having another person there really helps, a person you trust and love soothing you. If you haven't got anyone, ring them up, listen. Kristin Neff has got some pre-recorded things that you can listen to, or look at photos of people who loved you, even if they're now dead or gone or whatever, just to remind you, you are connected to people, you matter to people. So regulate, relate, and then you can reason with yourself or with the person who's anxious. Then you can engage logic. But it has to be done in that order, otherwise it doesn't work well. Regulate, relate, reason. Okay, so once our brain is involved, so once I've done my breathing and grounding, and I'm relating and feeling maybe I'm lovable, then I can engage my brain. So it's no good saying, don't be silly, because that doesn't make me feel related. And it's like, yeah, it's okay to feel like that. Here's something that might help. Can you hear? Talk to yourself kindly. Talk to the other person kindly. Then you can engage the brain. Like when I lose my car keys, I feel so stupid. I can be quite cruel to myself rather than kind to myself. I need to talk kindly. And a reality check can help. How much will this matter tomorrow? It will, if I still can't find the keys. If I've lost them next week, maybe less. Next month, no, I've got a new pair. But it will have cost. Next year, I'll probably have forgotten. So that can help, a reality check. These questions can help. Is this logical? Be scared of going out with my friends? Is there any evidence that it will be dangerous? And is it useful to think this way? Okay, final slide. This is just to remind you again about the window of tolerance. This is a slightly different diagram using polyvagal theory. Simon Borges, I think. So here's where we'd like to be. Where we're grounded, present, joyful. I've got choices. We bump along here. This is a nice place to be. But we can get tipped into flight or fight by a perceived threat or an actual threat. If it's a real threat, it can be useful to be in this state. Fight or fight. Should, I must, rage, panic, fear. And if that doesn't work, you know, you're trying to take action, but it doesn't work. Or maybe when you were a child, you tried to take action and protest, and it didn't work. Then you learnt not to even try, to go into I can't, that hopeless flat. What's the point of trying anything? It won't work. We're focusing more on the anxiety in this little clip. So what you want to do is try and get your notice. The first thing is to notice when you're in here, activation, and do things that deactivate and calm yourself. Things like grounding, mindfulness, breathing, phoning a friend, stroking a pet, fiddling with a fiddle object, doing knitting, whatever works for you, fishing, jigsaw puzzles, or in the moment, maybe just the breathing. And hopefully that will bring you back into this window of tolerance. Your body will feel calmer, and then you can engage your brain. So, brief summary, these are the things that can help. I wish you well. It's perfectly normal to be anxious, and there are things you can do to calm yourself. If you found this useful, do follow us at Rowan Consultancy on social media. We've got several clips on our YouTube channel, and we're on all these places as well. All the best. Bye-bye for now.